You're with the lunchtime news. The big story breaking at this hour. The CBI does a U-turn on VK Singh's bribery charge. It now says there is evidence to back the former army chief's charges of bribery. Well, the big NDTV exclusive at this hour, the Central Bureau of Investigation doing a U-turn on VK Singh's allegation that he was offered a 14 crore rupee bribe for clearing the Tatra trucks deal. And while the UPA was in power, the CBI had said there was no proof to support General VK Singh's charge. But now the investigation agency claiming it does have evidence. The former army chief, of course, is now Minister of State of External Affairs as well as Minister of State in charge of the Northeast. Sunetra Chaudhary joining us at this hour. Sunetra, what is this new evidence that the CBI has?
Well, what's interesting is while the CBI filed this charge sheet and this U-turn actually happened last week, what has come to the fore now is that for the first time, the entire charge sheet and the details and the startling details of it has been accessed by NDTV. Let me tell you that that charge sheet hasn't even been sent to all the parties, the accused, neither the complainants just yet. They will only get to know about it in mid-August, but NDTV has accessed this charge sheet which says it. Now, what does it say? First of all, this U-turn by CBI. Now, CBI in August 2013 had given reports, had indicated to all of us. In fact, PTI had also carried a story at that time saying that the tape that they had been given by VK Singh at that time didn't contain anything, and so they were likely to close the case. Now, this charge sheet seems to have completely blown that away because they have filed the charge sheet. But what's interesting is that in the charge sheet, CBI says that despite while General VK Singh had talked about a tape during investigation, VK Singh, the charge sheet says, VK Singh had claimed to have recorded a conversation. However, the same was not provided by him to the investigating agency despite best efforts. That's what the charge sheet says. So a complete U-turn. CBI at that time saying, one, that there is a tape, but there is nothing in it, so no charge sheet, and now filing a charge sheet but saying that there is no tape. Also, in that way, CBI rejecting VK Singh's taped evidence. If you recall from that time, all of the people involving from VK Singh's side had said that that conversation which had the bribe offer, that meeting that happened in 2010, which was reported by VK Singh in 2012, was recorded and it was taped by Tejinder Singh, due to which Tejinder Singh has now been charge sheeted. Now CBI completely blowing that aside by rejecting VK Singh's taped evidence, however going ahead and filing the charge sheet by saying that they didn't have anything else. So what is the evidence that NDTV is now accessed, that CBI has relied on in order to get this charge sheet done? It is quite interesting if you look at that. What has been reported till now is AK Antony's statement. Now, what's interesting is in the charge sheet, CBI gives his actual statement. In the statement, Raksha Mantri tells at that time, then Defense Minister, then Raksha Mantri tells CBI in his statement that yes, VK Singh had told me, but he is quite, as CBI sources said, vague about it. He says he told me about it maybe 1 or 1.5 years ago. So many insiders in CBI pointing out, is that really enough? That CBI, that the VK Singh saying 1.5 years ago, VK Singh had said it to the AK Antony statement. That's one evidence that they're going by. Another thing that they're going by is they've made witness of former aide to the Prime Minister, TK Nair. Very, very interesting. Principal Secretary TK Nair being made somebody in the case, being made a witness in the case, along with a joint secretary, Prime Minister's office. Now, why is this? Because CBI says that at that time, VK Singh had recommended the name of Tejinder Singh for NTRO chief. So after it was over, after the meeting, he writes in his diary, must speak to Nair to nix that bid. That's been presented as evidence in the CBI charge sheet. And so they've made TK Nair a witness in the case. But insiders point out this may not be reliable, because are you going to go by the diary and are you going to go by what he told? Isn't that hearsay? That's what insiders are saying. So apart from Antony's statement, which has been given to CBI, which many insiders say is vague, is also the other testimony of TK and Nair, which CBI is presenting as evidence. So these, as insiders pointers, are VK Singh's claims. Now, we spoke to VK Singh's lawyer earlier and asked him how he had gone wrong in the tape. Why is CBI saying that there is no tape in the charge sheet when VK Singh's side had said there was a tape? This is what his lawyer Vishwajit Singh said.
It was not for General VK Singh to pursue the matter once he has reported the matter to his superior officer, that is the Defence Minister.
But having Defence Minister, then Defence Minister, as your biggest witness, as your biggest evidence, you don't think is shaky? Because
No.
Mr. Antony's statement doesn't seem very conclusive and very definite.
See, I don't know what statement Mr. Antony has given to the CBI, but but we all are aware of the statement that he had given in the Parliament, which clearly corroborates whatever allegations were levelled by General VK Singh of an offer of the bribe. Mr. Antony was the first person to name the person offering the bribe in public domain.
Are you saying that the previous government didn't want to file?
Yes, I am saying this, that in fact the previous government went out of its way to protect this gentleman, and their CBI, despite being clear evidence by the Defence Minister and by officers in the PMO, CBI.
VK Singh's lawyer giving a completely different version, sticking by the fact that yes, they did give a tape. It's a CBI's fault that they couldn't recover the evidence. But CBI in its charge sheet is very, very clear. They're saying despite VK Singh going on mentioning a so-called tape, there is no tape that we got. That's what the charge sheet says. What's also interesting is that we went to Ranjit Sinha, CBI director, to get his version of all these claims being made and what they've paid on paper. So when we asked him, why is it that CBI has gone back on his statement? Earlier they said, last year they said that there was no case. Now they're saying that there is a case. They filed a charge sheet. And also Tejinder Singh, the accused, has made a statement that the only change has been the change of government. To that, Ranjit Sinha said there was never any official statement that CBI was closing the case. So only statement is the charge sheet that we made. We also asked Mr. Ranjit Sinha about reports that everybody in CBI, all the investigating officers, had disagreed with him. They didn't think that there was any case. To which CBI director said, ultimately it is the director's decision that prevails. So he confirms that. Also, he says, he tells NDTV, no case is 90% for charge sheet. Considering that the complainant was the chief of staff and is supported by the Raksha Mantri, that's why we went ahead and filed the charge sheet. So in a way, CBI Director Ranjit Sinha also confirming he's not saying anything about how strong the case is, but it's interesting in light of all the revelations. One, that there is no tape, the mystery of the tape being there. Of course, our sources now pointing out that they may have recovered some kind of recording, but that had nothing. But it's interesting that in the charge sheet, CBI says very clearly that VK Singh didn't give them any tape. Secondly, what also comes about is how the agency, what may have spurred on the agency to file the charge sheet. Is it something which is strong? And what made Ranjit Sinha go ahead with this decision after so many officers kind of disagreed with him?